Okay then, so let's start the language tier list. Of course, as I said, big disclaimer, this is all a big joke, so don't take it too seriously. So yeah, having said that, let's see. So I created this tier list. It mostly has languages that I've used or at least heard of, or like have had at least a brief look at some point in my life. So some of them I know well or very well, others I don't know much, but they're here. Like for example, I know some of them I don't know, but I'm interested in trying them out, so that's why they are in the that's why I also have this category. Right, so I think we're just going to start left to right, from this list, and this is the Agda logo, as far as I know. Well, I should not type Agda logo in, and that's silly. I should do Agda programming language or something. Not sure why it's suggesting tutorial. And I think, yeah, that's the logo, at least the one that's on Wikipedia. I'm not even sure if that's still the same one. Tuned in just in time. Yep, welcome Spaceship Operator. We're literally just starting. So yeah, we're just trying to have fun again. So big disclaimer: not don't take this too seriously. Don't even see a logo here on their website. Is it somewhere here? Nope. So whatever. There is some logo that's on GitHub. On Wikipedia. That's it. So what do we think about Agda? Well, I like Agda. And again, there are languages that are in different kind of categories here, at least in my opinion, right? Because it's pretty hard to compare Agda to, I don't know, to any non-dependently typed language, right? Because Agda is mostly used for proofs, right? You won't really write real programs in Agda. So maybe that's a downside for Agda, right? You can't really write real programs, but you can write proofs. So I think I'm not sure if I'm going. So we will edit this as we go, but I think I'm going to put it in like good enough for now. So I like using Agda. I'm not sure it's my favorite proof language. It's close between Agda and Idris. I think I like Idris a bit more, but then I've not played with Agda enough. I think I need to play with Agda a bit more, and then I think I might enjoy Agda a bit better after I do that. But I've literally not spent enough time with Agda, to be honest. But yeah, I like it. I like playing with provers. I think it's pretty good. So I unfortunately, well, I don't know if it's unfortunately, but it's I don't have much. Like, I don't have bad things to say about Agda. Just that, don't try to write actual programs with Agda because they're notoriously slow. Because everything gets turned into, I think everything gets turned into _, Haskell, which means Haskell with little to no optimizations, which is awful as far as speed goes. Okay, so next up we have C. Well, this is a very mixed bag for me, right? Because like when you have to do something like simple that's easy to distribute to other people, like a very, very basic console application, this is still my go-to actually, because it's like you don't even need to have somebody say, hey. So for example, recently my brother needed something simple like to generate a JSON, not only to generate but to keep overriding a JSON file locally, right? Because he had a different he was trying to emulate a real-time system which generated coordinates in a JSON system, and well, he's not a programmer, so he just needed it for his for playing with some graphics engine, right? And I was thinking, okay, I'd love to do this in Haskell, but I don't want to bother building a distributable binary because that's not ideal to do. I don't want to have him install whatever prerequisites. So using C or C++ was the easiest thing to do, despite the fact that I have not written programs in C or C++ in a long time. So I don't think I like any of the other alternatives I know for this area, for low-level systems programming. I know Rust is a great contender there, but I don't know Rust yet. So Rust will probably go into might try it. And then there's the debate Is statically linked still too hard? Hey, hello, Angel Ultra. So I figured that's what you meant, statically linked Haskell. So the answer is I don't know, actually. It might be easier with Nix if you want to do it really to distribute it on other Linux systems. But my brother is using Windows, so I wasn't even going to try that. If he was using Linux, then I might have tried a Nix build, because I think they've done some progress in making it easier to have like I could have probably found a Nix magic formula to to build a statically linked file, but like executable for Haskell. But yeah, I'm not sure what Zig is. Do you have a link or something? I've never heard of Zig before. Yeah. So anyway, actually C was the first programming language I learned seriously, right? I kind of knew the ISO IEC standard, well, not by heart, but if you asked a question, I could tell you, well, it's under paragraph 4.3 point whatever, and it says something kind of like that, right? So Ziglang. Let's see what this is. General purpose programming language and tool chain to maintain robust, optimal, usable software. Examples. So it's kind of in the same space as C, C++, D, Rust, and so on, and Go and whatever. Because like in this space, I'm looking forward to learning Rust, actually. It's basically a C competitor. Okay, so it's like a bit lower level than the others. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so I think, I'm not sure. So I think for me C++ is above C, which means that C should be in the pretty bad category. I don't enjoy writing C, that's for sure. I'd rather avoid it whenever possible. There should be a table about the platform it supports for Zig, you mean? So let's see. Performance competes with C, independent, manual, fresh, generic, and cross-compiling. Probably not under this link, I guess. Maybe it's somewhere else. Build system. Actually, I think I just muted this support table. Oh, is it this one? Oh yeah. I'm not sure what the tiers. Okay, so wide range of support tiers for different targets. Not that the bar for tier 1 is high, is still quite useful. Okay, so Linux, Mac OS always harder, and Windows, FreeBSD. Okay, I mean this looks great. WebAssembly even. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I mean that looks interesting for sure. Right, so yeah, I'd probably put C definitely at least one tier below Agda. Agda might end up there though, we'll see. But I think C++ is higher. I still kind of, but is it higher in the sense that it's here, or does it go into the good enough? If it does go into good enough, it's more rose-tinted glass than anything else. Oh yeah, well, you know, it's higher because this is the first language I learned. Right? This is so after having learned C++, like C# and all of the other OOP languages I've learned seemed a cakewalk. But yeah, for some reason I would not, like, I wouldn't go I had never gone all out OOP, or maybe I have at some point in the past, but I would never do that again. But I still prefer having templates, even for simple functions, and like at least some level of metaprogramming rather than macros from C. So I think that's why I would prefer C++ over C. But that's, yeah, I get that's a hot take, but that's just me. So I think the edges, like the edges of like the leftmost pretty bad, which are the best in pretty bad, might pop into good enough at some point, and but we'll see. We will review once we add more things. Okay, Clojure next. Let's look at Clojure. So I don't know a lot about Clojure, I'll be honest, but I kept it here since it's a functional language. This is a functional programming stream, so it would be pretty bad not to have Clojure here. So, okay, Clojure is a Lisp-like language, right, which runs under the JVM. So that makes it interesting, right? I'm not a big fan. So first off, I'm not, okay, a language made entirely of edge cases. People at work with 15 years of C++ experience don't know how things behave. Oh yeah, I know. Like I said, back when I was in high school, like basically, when I was a teenager, I would stay on IRC all day and just talk about C++ and find edge cases in the like ISO standard and talk about that with like a lot of people, and that was fun for me because I was learning a lot. But I mean, if only I had found Haskell instead and learned Haskell back then, that would have probably been a lot better for me. But well, who needs parsable grammars anyway? Yeah, I mean, it's C++ is I don't know. Again, it's something could talk about monads all day. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I'm getting burned out about on reading and talking about monads, to be honest. Like every week, I said this yesterday as well. So every week on like the like Haskell Reddit, there's at least 2 hot threads with which talk about monads, and one of them is, hey, I finally got monads, here's my monad tutorial, and then the other is maybe somebody asking something about monads or whatever. So yeah, it's definitely yeah. All right, so Clojure. Okay, so one thing is, so we only have Clojure and Racket as Lisp-like languages here, if I remember correctly. I'm not a huge fan. So I tried Racket on stream a couple of weeks ago, and I got pretty annoyed at it. Then again, I've never really been a fan of untyped languages. So yeah, but I'm not sure. I'm not a big fan of Lisp languages, as I said, and but then again, being a functional language on JVM is interesting. It's definitely not going into Orionoid by Racket or Dr. I was actually not even, was I using Dr. Racket, or was I using, I think I was even using Vim. Am I misremembering? I think I was using Vim, at least for part of it, if not all of it. No, I was going through the tutorial and I was being annoyed that lists and tuples are kind of the same. It's just the different terminator you use, but there's 2 different list terminators and like a lot of weird things. But like my like I learned C++ and then I learned C# and then I did some TypeScript, and then I've looked at a lot of other languages, but I've never done a lot of, like, except a bit of JavaScript at some point, but then I quickly ran to TypeScript. I never really did untyped programming languages, so they never felt comfortable for me. So I think this is definitely not good enough, right, for me. Closures, I don't think I'll ever get a Clojure job or do Clojure. So I think I don't think it's never. Is it never? Probably not, but it's somewhere, I think it's somewhere in between C++ and C for me. You might scream heresy because it's, here people suggest Racket as a pedagogically, yeah, I know, right? So I need to give it a second try because maybe I did something wrong here, but yeah. Right, so Clojure, yeah, I'm not sure. Like I think it's more likely that I'd move C++ up here than Clojure. Hopefully that doesn't mean a lot of people who hate me now, but yeah, not a big fan of Although if you like Lisp languages, then this is probably a good choice because you get the JVM libraries, which that's a lot. I'm not sure why I don't even remember why I added CoffeeScript here. I think I used. Is CoffeeScript still alive? I think I looked at it a very, very long time ago. Is this the new stream meta? Maybe. I just thought I'd do something fun this time. So we have CoffeeScript 2, which has been, well, so it doesn't seem there, like there's a recent commit here. So people still use CoffeeScript. That's interesting. Have you did somebody else from the FP/programming community do something like this recently? Because I've been watching some other like bigger non-programming streams do something like this. So it's your turn after. Yeah, I'd love to see other people do this. I think it's fun. So we have numbers, we have, some weird syntax here. I'm trying to remember because it's been a long time. So functions are pretty easy to write. Yeah, it kind of looks like a Ruby-like way to do JavaScript. Is that a reasonable? It's been a long time since I've done this. But yeah, so I think since PureScript exists, then it's never. Yeah, no need to look at it any further. Like PureScript is a thing, TypeScript is a thing. We don't need CoffeeScript, sorry. Okay, we can move on. That was fast. So Coq. Coq is a hey CodeGman, welcome. So Coq is another in the same category with Agda for the most part. It's another prover, dependently typed language, and so on. The battle of the Boer languages. It was used. It gave me the Rails feel, right? The Ruby feel, and I get why they were used together, but nope, not anymore. No, not for me. So let's see, Coq. So actually, this was the first dependent type language that I learned. I went through the Software Foundations book along with other people. We had some sort of seminars at the university, like weekly seminars at the university. It was super fun to do. So I kind of have a nostalgia element. For me, at least, there's a nostalgia element with Coq. But I hate that there's a. I hate that there is a. There's like 3 separate languages here that you need to learn. So I think this goes here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but this goes here. It's better than CoffeeScript if there isn't a way to compare Coq with CoffeeScript. But nope, it's only because of the scope, right? It's kind of in the same, like this is the same scope as Agda, and nope, just no. I don't want to, it's awkward to me, right? Like in Agda, it feels a lot simpler. You just have a function, you need to implement it, even if it's a proof. I just think of it as functions. I deeply dislike the tactics way of doing proofs in Coq. So not for me. Okay, so C#. C# was doing C# was most of my developer career. That's what this is what I use the most. Where should it go? I think I like it. Do I like it better? I think it's easier to build something meaningful with C# than C++, because there's more libraries, it's easier to set up. But again, the problem with C# and the reason why I did not use it in a long time is that if you try to do something very small, like something like I said, like I recently had to do, like for this you need to install the .NET runtime. For this you don't need anything. You just do a simple program and you just, yeah. They started removing nodes, added algebraic data types and pattern matching along with lambdas, etc. Maybe good enough for me for C#. You mean the removing null algebraic data types and pattern matching? Wait, so we have some types now in C#? Do we have a link for that? Yeah, the blue thing is, this is F#. Pattern matching algebraic data types. Well, not literally. Supports pattern matching ATs and tuples, so C# gets all of that by transitivity. What's this? So pattern matching, this is the pattern matching, the is thing. Okay. Oh, okay, so it's match. Okay, it's a different thing. It's match with some special syntax. I love your proof read there. So F# is worse than Haskell. C# is worse than F#, so C# is extra bad Haskell. That checks out 100%. So yeah, I'm actually more interested about this. Okay, okay, so this is, I was like, wait, this is C#? How long have I been gone? Okay, it's not quite so. So, okay, public abstract alt class. Okay. So there's nothing really. Oh, so it's kind of like Scala, right? Well, where you do, okay, you have a like trait or abstract class, and then you define like subclasses. And I guess this is the syntax with this thing, and then it gets translated into like this sort of thing. Yeah, I'm going to the hard pass on that. Get this in visualbasic.net. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, is this between this enclosure and C? Where does C# end up being? I mean, they're trying, right? They're trying really hard. They have LINQ, which is not too bad. Actually, I think that's how I got some into, like, I was doing a lot of LINQ before getting an FP, so I think getting used to thinking about types from LINQ helped me a bit with doing type Tetris, at least initially. So yeah, maybe it can stay here. Okay, let's do Elixir. So Elixir is a very interesting language to me. Because right now at work I'm doing Scala, and the reason we're doing Scala, or one of the main reasons we're doing Scala, is that we want to use Akka.NET because the business wants to make sure that they're able to easily, how should I say this, to easily make to easily scale, right? And Akka makes them think that it's going to be easy to scale, which I'm not 100% sure that's right. But yeah, those are the constraints. It's also important that we have we have a lot of integrations. We're using Scala, right? I'm doing Scala right now at work, so it's Scala and Akka, right? It's not Akka.NET. It's just the Akka from Scala, and yeah, it's anyway. I would probably much rather use this instead, right? The actual actor-based system/programming language. So I think this goes here. I'm actually, well, let's see, can we swap is this better? It's not better. Okay, never mind. You're going to, that's it. That's as good as it gets. Yeah, so I think I like Elixir. It's an interesting language. I would probably rather use it than, I'll definitely rather use that than Scala and any other actor-based systems, library or language. I've not actually used it in Angular ever, but I've played with it and it's interesting to me. Okay, Scala Shaka when the falls fell. Okay, I get it. It's gone now. Yeah, so yeah, I've not used it, so maybe it would annoy me if I actually used it in Angular, but it hasn't yet, and it's it's interesting. And then there's one more thing, like if you actually do need that sort of ability to scale horizontally, I don't think Haskell has a good solution for that right now. And an actor-based system is something that's not hard to do. And like Erlang is a rock-solid VM, so this seems like a good option. And I think that there's, what's the name of, doesn't that put Elixir? Might try it. Well, I kind of played, but yeah, maybe. I kind of played with it a bit, but yeah, I don't think I can claim that I know it. So yeah, it might go here. That's fair enough. Yeah, one other thing, what was I saying? Yeah, the VM is rock solid. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so let's get to probably the this is what we call technical trolling. I mean, you're right. I can't claim I know. Like so when my wife used to like the previous years, before she got into maternity leave, she had this course on like programming methods or whatever, and most of it was talking about actor design, like actor-based code, and not only that, I think there were also a few other things, but this was their main project at the end of the semester was to build something with Elixir. Yeah, it was pretty interesting to go through like the students' projects and see how they did. So yeah, I kind of, but that's the level I know Elixir, right? I know it well enough to read code from and figure out which students did a decent job. My problem with Elixir is the Ruby syntax. Yeah, so I think, okay, now I remember, this is what I was going to say. So I think there's a Erlang Haskell language. So there's a language that's a lot like Haskell, and it's Hamler, this is it, right? So I type a terrible thing in Google, and then so it's Hamler, right? Let's see, is something clickable here? Yeah, there we go. So this looks very interesting. It's very, very early, but it's a Haskell-like language that runs on Erlang OTP, right? So let me see, where can I show you some? They had somewhere some sort of like, where is it? Why is it so hard to find links on this page? Am I missing something here? Installation, create, write interpreter, documentation, cheat sheet maybe? Yeah, so as you can see, this is you wouldn't know this isn't Haskell. There are a few things where you'll notice, because like you have items like this, and like there's a few Erlang specific things that will, like maps are written like this, and so on, right? So whenever you see something like that, you'll know that, okay, this is something that's weird in in Haskell, but yeah, it's really interesting. Like I'm keeping an eye on this, because especially since I said that, so this might be the interesting thing that I want to learn, right? Because but I think this is very early. This project is very early, and yeah, distributed systems are definitely hard. Right, so now let's look at Elm. So on one hand, big disclaimer. Pretty much everything I know about Elm is by reading random blog posts and reading other people's opinions. I have never tried Elm personally, and so yeah, that's a disclaimer. Then after disclaimer, the trolley part is I'll probably never try it. Again, PureScript exists, it's a thing. Elm, from what I understand, suffers from a few things that make it untryable for me, if that's a word. One of them is the fact that there is a single person who seems to be making decisions, or very, very few people that seem to be making decisions, oftentimes against at least some voices in the community. it feels scary to me because sometimes these decisions seem unreasonable. Like for example, removing operators at some point I think was a thing that they did, or at least some operators, right? Because it's confusing and you need to use words instead of operators. And like I mean, it feels a very restrictive language, and I don't like that. It might be a good gateway drug into FP, but yeah, for me it's a never. It's probably not as never as CoffeeScript, but more so than Coq for sure. Definitely not my thing. Again, if PureScript wasn't a thing, I'd probably have a hard time figuring out whether it's what is it, Misa, or what's it called, like the JCJS versus. Yeah, so okay, so there's some blessed operators in the language, but not you can define your own, right? Something like that. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a very strong dictatorship. There, like the. I like writing abstract code, and again, this is where I clash with or maybe I think I clash at least with the simple Haskell movement. I don't agree much with it. I like writing abstract code, or at least having the option to. I think Elm is not very good at doing that, so it's not my thing. So I don't think I would ever use Elm. I would avoid it as much as I can. Okay, so you have Erlang here. I would probably never use Erlang, to be honest, either. Oh, hey, Checkers, thank you very much for the sub. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Good gateway drug, though. Yeah, exactly. By the way, if you feel like you're having a long delay between, and you can check that by typing something in chat and then looking at my screen. If you feel like you have more than like 5-second delay, then you can try doing a refresh. That should normally fix it, and you should not have more than 5 to 7 seconds of delay. Cool. So let's see. Erlang is, I mean, it's kind of the I would not use it, right? The Elixir exists. Hamler is getting out there, so I don't see why I would use Erlang as the basic old language. So I think this also goes into never. Not my thing. Yeah, I think that's pretty easy. Like, it's just no. We have better alternatives, and even if this is a weird, I kind of agree with Gil Christian, who says that Ruby syntax is kind of not my favorite. I agree, but it's still better than like the Erlang syntax. Cool. So let's see, F#. So when I was getting into FP, back when I was doing C#, the obvious thing to try, which I obviously did, was trying out F#. To do Java. Oh yeah, sure. So I tried it, and I think I was just there at the wrong time, right? I think it was a very unfortunate circumstance for C#, or maybe for me, because C# is doing just fine without me. But I'm also doing just fine without C#, so maybe all's good. But my problem with C# was even worse than, I don't think Reed guesses what I'm about to say, but literally the thing that should make it good, like good support with like Visual Studio, or at least Visual Studio Code and all of that, it was literally not working at all at the time, because they were in the middle of going from .NET to .NET Core and doing a lot of like crazy things, and nothing was working for me, and I got very, very frustrated. I ended up actually getting something to work, but then type providers, like all of the things that people rave about with F# weren't things that I didn't like about it. Better life story than Twilight. I used it for work for like a year. It was not good. Yeah, and I think like it's one of those languages where it feels functional and you can trick it that you can do functional, but there's a lot of like things that don't work properly, right? And things that you can't abstract properly and so on. Even Well, now it's .NET 5, which is .NET Core, which is also .NET Standard. Yeah, I lost track a while ago. Since I stopped working with C#, I have not followed. So, yeah. I'll trust you on that, but I don't know. So I think F# for me goes into... Where does it go? Is it never? I don't think it's as bad as Clojure, actually, for me. So that means two things. Either Clojure is too high up the list, or F# is... yeah, maybe Clojure is too high. Maybe everything's too high. But these are still in the pretty bad category. We're filling up. We're quickly filling up the bad and never categories. The architecture book. I'm not even sure what you. I don't know about that book. But love his talks. Okay. Requires you to order your function definition a certain way. Okay. So are some of the other things too high up the list? Because I think F# is still better than this. So does it go here? I mean, the pretty bad category is things that I might do sometimes, but I would not love to do it often. This is tricky for me, so I guess we'll review it after. Okay, let's just do it like this, and then we'll do a review after. Okay, so Go goes here. No two ways about it. Never going to do Go. Just not for me. I actually watch a streamer who does Go, right? Who like Go is his main language. It's Beginbot, his name. I think he even raided the channel a couple of times. But I only do that because he's a fun person to watch. I actually don't like Go at all. So yeah, yeah. Go definitely goes here. Oh, so I think I know about this. I don't think I don't know his book, but I know. Is it the same? Pretty basic, clear. Oh, right. So, okay, this book was recommended by my former colleague at Runtime Verification, Tom Tuggle, who's a big Haskell guy, and yeah. So back when we were doing Haskell at my previous job, he recommended this book and said that he learned quite a few things from here. So that coming from a hardcore Haskell guy means something, I guess. I even have it. I have bought this book, but I've not. I have so many things I want to read that I've not gotten to read it. Okay. All right. So where were we? Yep. So Go is definitely in the Nope Never. No. Hopefully Chris is not watching, and even if he is watching, hopefully that doesn't. Annoy him, but yeah, Go is not something that I want to do ever, probably. Okay, so Haskell. Well, I mean, there's no way we're not putting Haskell here, right? Let's not kid ourselves. Go compiler is fast, though. I mean, I can write a compiler that's very fast and as useful as Go. It's at least for me, right? It is just a program that doesn't do anything. But yeah, no, I mean. The compiler being fast doesn't, and dependency pooling is fast, I think. I mean, that's sure. That's good for people who do Go. I couldn't. And I hear they're getting generics or something in the language, which is fine. That's good. That's a great step forward, but I'd still not use Go. So anyway, Haskell definitely goes here. I love doing Haskell. I love working with Haskell. I can imagine better languages than Haskell, but they don't exist. So, well, they sort of exist, but they don't. It's like you can't. So okay, we're not only talking about the language period right here. We're also considering the ecosystem documentation and all of that, right? So I probably have a better time writing production code in Agda maybe or Idris, but that's not possible. So. Yeah, so Idris goes somewhere next to Agda, but I'm not sure where, right? because those are fighting words. Which one are fighting words? Sorry. I'm not sure what you mean. So Idris goes somewhere next to Agda, but I'm not sure where. And I think Reed is, maybe that's what Reed is reacting to, because Idris is a huge, Reed is a huge Agda fan, I think. The better than Java? Maybe. So I don't know here, actually. I definitely use more Idris than Agda. And I think mostly because I played quite a bit of the Idris, what's it called? Like Idris 2 linear types. I had some fun with that, and that was something that was very interesting to me at some point, like earlier this year, I think, or maybe it was last year, something like that. Whereas with Agda, I have not played much at all. Well, not at all, but very little. So yeah, I guess Agda deserves to be. Have you played with Liquid Haskell? Actually, I have not. So I've read a bit about it. I kind of know the basic idea, but I've never played with it myself. No. But it's a bit different, right? Because like people put it in the same Agda and Idris category, but it's really not, right? Because like Liquid Haskell is more of an SMT solver, right? I think that's right. Like SMT solver at the type level, basically. Whereas Agda and Idris are dependent type languages, right? It's something different. Like the theory is way different, I think. I might be wrong, though. You should add future self-made language as a language to rank. Yeah, maybe. I doubt I'll be doing that, but hey, who knows? Maybe we start working on a language on stream. Okay, so Java. Oof. So I actually refinement types versus dependent types. Yes, something like that. So Java, that's interesting. So to a lot of people, Java and C# are somewhat interchangeable. To me, they're definitely not. Java is a lot worse than C# in my opinion. I never liked the Java mentality, if you will, like the way libraries are created, the way sample code exists, the books and everything. So I think Reed is totally correct. We need a like gray garbage category. Wait, no, sorry. How do we add one? Is it so? Add row? No, not above. Sorry. Can do this. Okay, and this needs to be garbage. Let's see. Let's use a color that allows us to read. Okay, so Java goes here. There we go. I mean, does it deserve to be on its own, or should we also put CoffeeScript there? I mean, CoffeeScript has done us no harm, right? So, yeah, I think that's fair. Right. Oh, hey, hello. What's up, Chris? Welcome. Entity bin factory tier. Yep. I like that actually. But then it's not so clear. I mean, it's below. I don't know. No, we'll keep it like this. Right. So let's see. Let's go. Oh, actually, let me repeat that for whoever didn't hear it or wasn't here when I said it. So on Friday, Chris will. We need a quote bot. Yeah, maybe. I think we do have a bot, but I'm not sure how quotes work with it. So let's. Oh yeah. So I was saying Chris will be joining us on Friday for our Haskell news, right? So he'll join us for the news segment where we go through Reddit. Yeah. So I think it's help quote. I'm not sure if that works. Yeah, I think I need to go look into Stream Elements and see. how this works. Chat commands, maybe. Right. So Chris will be joining us on. Well, maybe that works. Will be joining us on Friday for we'll just chat about news, and then we'll do whatever. Right. We don't have a clear idea what to do, so maybe if you're there, you can propose ideas. But yeah, we'll do a chill chat there. So let's see, quote, add, remove. I think it might only be me that I'm allowed to use this, and I think I can try and see if I can allow everybody to use it. But let's see if this even works, like the command you did. Okay, so now when you do quote, it works. Okay, yeah. So I'll look at this actually after the stream. And see how I can give pretty much everybody access to play with this, because I don't care if people add random codes here. So yeah, I'll have a look after the stream, or maybe after we're done with this segment. Okay, so let's get back. JavaScript. This is another interesting thing to talk about, right? I have very, very mixed feelings about JavaScript. Yeah, this is gonna be fun, right? So on one hand, JavaScript, it's very, 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 very easy to do it, to write terrible code with JavaScript, right? Very, very easy, right? And like this brings me back to like 1800 lines of JavaScript code in a single file. That was some mess that I had in like some of the previous jobs. Yeah, Assad needs to drop here, right? But like, there's that, like the possibility of writing terrible code, and then there's people like Assad who do amazing things with JavaScript. I'm not sure I would enjoy. Like, I'd be terrified to do what Assad does. Actually, wouldn't you? Like, just do crazy lengths, profunctor, Galaxy brain code in JavaScript and with no compiler help. I don't think I would be able to do that. What do you guys think? Like, it seems to me like it's way too much for poor old JavaScript to handle. Like, you can do it, but would you have confidence in the code written like that? Yeah, because I don't have that much confidence in my abilities to not fuck up. Yeah, I can't keep it in my head exactly, right? I need a compiler to try to test me. Right, so I definitely do any of the top 3 languages. So wait, actually give me 1 second. I think we had, okay, hey, Ha and Monster. Welcome. We're doing a troll language tier, so don't take anything too seriously. And then Divine Messiah said, newbie here, why is Java so hated? So again, as I said earlier, don't take everything too seriously. This is mostly a joke. If this were serious, then Java would probably be somewhere in the nope, never category. But it's fun to dunk on Java, so we put it in the garbage. It's hated because it's the poster child for OOP, overly like wrap everything in a factory, and like all of the silly, at least silly to us functional programmers, OOP patterns. Chris, did you manage to change your name? Because we see you as Christopher Penner now. Cool. So let's look at this link. Wait, this doesn't seem to be loading. Okay, this is cool, right? So these are one of those classes is real, 2 are made up, pick up one that's not made up. I mean, this is really hard. This all seem like okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you figured it out. So yeah, here's the problem. Each of these looks like a perfectly reasonable class to me. At least like a personally reasonable class for Java people to create, right? I mean, this looks like the one that's yeah, right. You're just wrong. So yeah, it might as well be any of them, right? Anyway, so let's see, JavaScript. JavaScript, as I said, yeah, I'll probably avoid it. Like, it's a very good assembly language, compiled to JavaScript, but not a good language to write code in. I'm sorry, Assad. Please don't get mad at me, but no. So I think it goes... Where does it go? Somewhere next to Go, but I'm not sure where. Before or after Go. I think it's before Go. Sorry, Chris. Right, this is Kotlin. So so Kotlin goes somewhere. So Kotlin goes either in Nope Never. I mean, pretty bad. Somewhere below this line, right? It's never going to be good enough. So it's either pretty bad, Nope Never, or might try it. Because I actually not played with it a lot. I think Java may have. I don't think so. I think Kotlin is way better than Java. I think it's way cleaner. I think you can do like. I think it has some types. People haven't got the memo. JS is not compile target now, shouldn't be used by itself. Yep. Like, I think this is something that oops, sorry, I did not mean to do that. So I think this is something that I've heard some very, very prominent C# guy say a long time ago, back when I was doing C#, which is Scott Hanselman, right? And he said this maybe 5 years ago, or maybe even more, that JavaScript is the assembly language for the web. And I think he's definitely right. And he was right at that time, and he's even more right now, since there are so many more languages that compile to JavaScript. So yeah, I think that's definitely the thing to do. Okay, so Kotlin. So I know very little about Kotlin, but I think they do have some types. I think it's a pretty clean syntax. It's not too bad to write. I think Christoph Henkelman, Kritzkrieg on Slack, kind of likes the language a bit to do some for demonstrative purposes. I think he used it at some seminar to build what was it called, like a type inference thing. So yeah, I don't think it's never. I think it's less never than any of the languages here. So it's either, but I don't think I might try it either. I don't think it's my cup of tea. So maybe it's somewhere here. It's above Clojure for sure. Clojure might actually end up in the Nope Never category, but we'll see. Right, so OCaml. I know very little about OCaml. So let's see if I can express the very little I do know about it. Well, I know it's an ML language. I know that you can do side effects whenever you please. And I know it can be pretty fast, which is it's a pretty good advantage. But yeah, it's a functional language. But like the thing is, if you're not if you can do whatever you want with it, like if you can just run arbitrary effects, I think that makes it pretty bad for me. Although maybe it's at the top of pretty bad. Maybe since I've not really used it much, maybe I have too good of an opinion about OCaml, but I think it's better than the rest of the languages here, at least for me. I don't know. Does anybody in chat have any experience with OCaml, or is it like nobody even tried it from chat, and that's why the chat literally is not saying anything? OCaml is okay. Yeah, exactly. It's I can't put it in good enough, right? Because good enough is Agda and Idris for now. So maybe if we start moving things up, then OCaml might get into good enough. But yeah, I think it's fine as the barely not good enough, right? Okay. Well, it's okay. I've built small programs with it. Try the INRIA course. OCaml seems cool. Yeah. That's my thing, right? I don't think it can't go here yet. But yeah, models are cool. Yeah, it has some interesting things. Yep, so I think it's fine to be here for now. Okay, so I think we might have a friend for Java here. The lack of higher kind of types is kind of a bummer, and the 31-bit ints are a bit weird, but it's pretty cool that everything is unboxed. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I think Java can have a friend here. I'm not sure about the order, but does it really matter? They're in the garbage, so the order doesn't really matter. I'd be curious if anybody disagrees with this. Okay, so PureScript. Well, I mean, it definitely goes here. The question is where, and I think my take will be the order here doesn't matter. I love them equally like my children, right? I only have one kid, but if languages are my children, then I would love them equally, right? So yeah, we're not going to, like, the order here is relevant. This is a set, not a list, right? Me and my son's PureScript and Haskell. Yep, pretty much. Because I mean, they're both great for the same reason, but also for some different reasons, right? In Haskell, I can do a lot of fun type level stuff that I can't do in PureScript. But PureScript has records, which are absolutely awesome. Has variants, has a lot of cool things. So for me, it's very, very hard to compare them, right? So it's like GADTs and I don't know, a lot of cool things in Haskell, like I don't know. I mean, then there's records, and then there's I can do more proofs in Haskell if you want to, and have like safer types. But then in PureScript you got like a very nice prelude, and like, sorry, there's a lot of things that I love about both languages. So it's hard to differentiate for me. Right, so Python. Python. What do you do with you? Yeah, prelude is it's definitely a thing in PureScript. I'm not sure if everybody knows what that is, so I think it's worth taking a minute to have a look at, because that gem is only known to the PureScript community, but it needs. So if you're wondering who did this, it's Tom Harding, and this library adds emojis. Let me remove this so we see them in their glory. So add emojis for operators, basically, right? So you have a train with carts for fmap and apply, and then this sort of thing, like pointing right for this, and this is function composition, right? So you have backend and soon for composing. Yeah, it's hilarious. Actually dying at the trains. Oh my god! Yep, it's amazing. Semigroup is this, like you're pushing things together. Yeah, it's just awesome. Absurd is a bomb. Unsafe partial is this don't look monkey. Functor composition is a burger. Right, burritos all the way down. Yeah, so it's just it's absolutely amazing, and everybody needs to be using this as their prelude. Let's see what we have here. Wait, no, copy link. Wait, what am I reading? Emoji code. What is this? What am I looking at, Agent Ultra? Please help me. Every looping on the name, and they consists of separate alternatives. So foo consists of mouse, dog, or hippo. It's a language you write in emoji. Okay. I'll have to look at that later. Right, so let's get back to this. So Python and only emoji. Oof. So you write on your phone, right? Or how does that work? Maybe we need to give this to Sandy, right? Because Sandy was looking into languages where you use like you tap rather than type, right? So maybe an emoji-based language might be up his alley. Anyway, so Python. What do we do with Python? It's definitely not getting above pretty bad. Let's be honest. It's not getting above pretty bad in any way. Is it pretty bad or worse? Is the question here. I think it's worse than pretty bad. I think I hate it more than JavaScript for some reason. I don't know why. I just don't like Python at all. Yeah. I think it's yeah, I'm not a fan of Python. And I think there's some attempts there to do types and to do a lot of things, but I think Python goes here for me. And here I go putting the most popular few languages in the nope never category. But yeah, no, so I just don't. I'm not going to do Python ever at my job. I'm not going to do Python recreationally unless, I don't know what's the unless. I can't even think of a good reason I'll be doing Python. So yeah, no, big nope to Python. Racket. So we've tried Racket, so I'm not sure if it might give it a second try because there's so many people having good feedback on it, or whether it goes next to Coq into Never, right? So I don't dislike Coq. It's just well, actually, I do dislike Coq. Let me go back. I do dislike Coq. I don't like the tactics language. I respect the work and the idea, but I don't like the tactics language and having multiple languages. And Racket's either here, which is to say that I might give it a second try, but I might not. I think it goes next to Coq. I'm sorry. Just like... and if Racket goes here, then Clojure also goes here. I'm sorry, but that's it. Lisp languages are not for me. I've tried it. I might try it again, and then this nope never might become a let's give it one more chance before giving up again. But yeah, no, Lisp languages are not for me. Bold. Right, so Ruby. What do we do with Ruby? You should use the best Lisp, Emacs Lisp. I can't say that I have. So I used Emacs. I have not. I've written some Emacs Lisp, but very very little, just to configure my Emacs. But yeah, it was definitely not fun for me either. So as I said, Lisps are not for me. It's so bad that it's good. Okay. So Ruby. Again, I've never used Ruby in anger. It will never be... I don't think it can ever be even in pretty bad. So the question is, does it go into nope, never, or garbage? I don't think it deserves to go in the garbage. It's not as bad as these two. So I think it's somewhere around here. I'm not sure where. Maybe we surround Go by Ruby and Python. Yeah, maybe that's a thing. Yeah, I don't think there's much else I want to add here. It's just no. Just nope. Right, so we have Rust. Rust is definitely here. I think it's top of the list here of might try it. I actually planned to do a Rust stream at some point, like a couple of weeks ago, but I got stuck into. I didn't even get stuck. I was like, how do you use cargo with Nix and all of that, and I semi got stuck. I could actually, because I've created a new Ubuntu VM just to be able to use the Visual Studio session link sharing whatever to do on Thursdays. Hey, hello Dario, welcome. So since I have that Ubuntu VM, I could just play with the Rust there and not worry about Nix. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea, and then we can learn Rust at some point on stream. The chicken, you mean this or this? This is cock and this is Agda. Right, so Scala. Yeah, you're welcome. So Scala is special, right? Because I'm doing Scala at work today. Well, I'm doing Scala at work, period, not just today. And before I started doing Scala, I was so before I got this job, I spent like maybe a couple of weekends doing Scala, and it didn't feel that bad. I tried to do some. I don't even remember. Maybe I can find those files because it might be fun to. Yeah, garbage is worse than nope, never. But might try it is better, right? So this is I don't have an opinion yet, so it's like here on the bottom. I think PHP is a better language than JS nowadays. Yeah, I've not used PHP in a very long time. So I think the first web server I created with PHP, and then I've not touched it since, and that's like 20 years ago or something. Maybe just 15 years ago. So a friend asked why I was learning Rust. For my answer, essentially I felt like it, and then I'm curious other people building. So okay, I learned Rust Pi 0, Rust, Spotify API. My 2-year-old to turn on the TV and launch Spotify. Oh, that's super cool actually. I might steal this idea because I have a 1-year-old right now, so I might do something like this. That's super cool. Thank you for sharing that, Eric. Did we do Perl? We don't have Perl here because I don't know Perl. But okay, let's do this then. Let's do. I'll finish these last two, and then chat can recommend some other languages, and we can add them here somehow. I'll figure it out. I'll probably do some tricks on OBS to add them because it's not easy to edit this website, but I can just use the power of overlays of OBS overlays to add things here. Hi, I'm learning Arduino. What language do you recommend for beginners? Isn't it like doesn't Arduino require some specific language? I'm not even sure. Like yeah, C is something that's pretty low level, right? You might, yeah, I'm not sure but I mean, the best advice would be just to read about what other people use with Arduino and do that. But yeah, Python, JavaScript, C, those are fine if you're beginning. Here we're doing mostly FP, but I don't think FP works very well with like low-level hardware stuff, so I can't recommend any FP language for that. Right, so where were we? Scala. So what do we do with the... Yeah, you're very welcome. So Scala. Okay, so I was saying I tried some things and didn't feel so bad, but lately in the past couple of weeks I've been pretty frustrated with Scala because its GADT support is pretty terrible. Arduino IDE is C++, but you can use MicroPython or something as well. Yep, yeah, maybe MicroPython. So C++ is very easy to shoot yourself in the foot, like very stupidly easy. So if you're a beginner and you don't have experience with using C or C++ style languages, then maybe Python would be a lot easier if you just want to have fun with your Arduino. Right, so Scala. Yeah, so yeah, it's like I've been getting very, very frustrated. So I'm very, very close to to throwing it in the garbage. But I that would be just frustration. It's not really correct. So let's try to be to not be impulse driven. So where does this fit? So I mean, on the other hand, I was able to build a codec library in Scala, which is not trivial. It has like, yeah. I was surprised that worked painlessly to transfer from Haskell to Scala. But then this GADT that I'm working on right now, it's just a nightmare to work in Scala. And you get like weird compiler bugs where, okay, so listen to this. There is I've discovered a bug in Scala where if you rearrange the case statements in a pattern match, the bug disappears. Like it's a type level bug and it's complaining about matching types, and then you just swap the order of the case matches and then it just works. So yeah, that drove me crazy for a bit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, terrible syntax, like awful syntax in Scala 2. Scala 3 is going to be a bit better. But yeah, you get all the advantages of being on the JVM, a lot of libraries and people willing to allow you as developers to do FP in Scala, even if it's a Java shop or a JVM shop. But I still think it's somewhere here. Is it okay? It's not below F sharp, surely. It can't be below F sharp. Is it below C sharp? So is it here? It kind of annoys me that it's this high, because I'm very annoyed at this language right now. I kind of wish I could put it in the garbage right now, because I'm annoyed at it. But then again, it's not that bad. Yeah, I think we'll do a second pass and rearrange things. Okay, and then there's TypeScript. Okay, so there's TypeScript FP, which is somewhat interesting. And then there's, I mean, it's type. It has some interesting type level features, to be honest. And it's been getting more and more interesting things. I think it goes in pretty bad. That syntax. Yeah, the syntax pretty terrible. It's JavaScript syntax plus some things, right? I think it's... Let me put it in this category for now, and then we'll reconsider. I think we need... Okay, here's what we'll do. Are you ready? We'll do this and this. And then we'll start moving some things from pretty bad to good enough, I think. I think that's the plan. Because I actually have a lot of fun with using both Agda and Idris. And I would definitely not turn down like my next job, if I can find something where I muck around in Idris or Agda, I would on the spot take it. So let's not kid ourselves. It's a lot of fun to play around with dependently typed languages. So okay, what's good enough for? Oh, actually, wait. Before we do that, let's see. So does chat want to? So somebody mentioned Perl. Perl will definitely go into garbage for me. So if you want me to add it here so that we can see it, we can do that. But are there any other languages that that people want to see covered here? So the Perl logo is an onion? Is that real? Intercal? I have no idea what that is. Okay, now you're just making things up. What about good enough language? So I'm not even sure if you're trolling or because I've seen a lot of languages with weird names. But Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. I've not heard of any of those languages, so. Intercal, I kid. Okay, let's have a look though. Let's see what this is about. Okay, add. Meanwhile, I'm just adding Perl. Where is it? Okay, we'll be moving that in a second somewhere else. As a parody. Okay, so okay. Okay, so R, Julia, Nim, and Wolfram language. I have not tried any of those, and that's why they're not on the list. R seems interesting, but I don't do much. I know number, statistical analysis, things like that. I just don't do that sort of thing. So I've never had a chance to play with R. Never played with Julia either. I have not tried Nim, but that's something that I think was. Rust is here, is my trite, and it's the top of the my trite, which means that I will actually try it soon. So I don't remember what kind of statically it compiled the systems. It combines successful concepts from other languages like native dependency, memory management. So how does Nim compare to Rust? Or does it compare more to C than Rust? Yeah, again, I don't know a lot about Nim, or actually I don't know pretty much anything about Nim to have an opinion. Not about Julia. I'm not even sure what Crystal is. A language for humans and computers. Okay. So heavily inspired from Ruby. Okay, big down, like thumbs down for this. It writes like Python, compiles to C, and has some cool features like multiple GCs, move semantics. C with Ruby syntax. Yeah, we're a bit of on a Ruby syntax hating spree here today on this stream. Some of it is warranted, some of it is not. Again, as I said, we don't take this too seriously because we're mostly kidding. But yeah, I'm not sure. Like in this category of C languages, like C-like languages, where you're looking for like systems languages, where for me that's C, C++, maybe Go, Rust. And I guess Nim seems to fit that category as well as Crystal. For me, Rust is the big thing that I would try, and I'm most interested in. The others, I'm a lot less interested. So yeah. Right, so we're throwing this thing somewhere here. Where is it? Where are you? Okay. There you go. Perfect. We've also added Perl here. There we go. Okay. So yeah, let's see if we can rearrange these things now. So I think first thing is let's start moving some things to good enough. That this means that Scala is good enough, and I hate that it's good enough because it's not. Uh, so maybe we don't have good enough. Maybe we just call it differently. We'll just say not bad. Not bad already sounds like too good. uh, but then these are all languages that I might use at some point given the circumstance. So yeah, okay, let's just do bad and terrible. Then maybe, yeah, if there's a pretty bad, just bad and terrible, I think that's better. Okay, C sharp, F sharp. Yes, I think I'm keeping C sharp up front, but I think Kotlin might be... Yeah, I don't know enough Kotlin to put it higher than C sharp, but maybe that's a fine place to be. TypeScript, probably... Yeah, I think this is fine. No, I just... I don't like C. I don't know why. C is annoying me. C++ is better than C for me. So can we promote some of the nope, never to terrible? I mean, I could see myself doing some cock, to be honest, if I have to for a limited amount of time. It's not terrible. But I don't think the Lispy language is something that I would do. So I think that's... yeah, I think we're done. Yeah, I think this is the... C Vlad's tier list for languages, version 1.